too far to the field. But I think they were more worried about, I can't remember who was our field. I think it was Jeff. We had Jeff out there, or maybe Mike Harley or somebody. And I just remember seeing him too far, so I just tried to keep him to the field. And luckily, Daryl was 6'6" and able to go over that guy. Who was it? Who was the corner?
The M guy.
The M guy.
What was his name?
The M guy.
The guy from
I'm gonna
American
need a consonant,
Heritage.
bro.
The guy from American. That is a consonant. The guy from American Heritage.
Well,
I don't know. I just remember
they beat him.
We went
That
back
guy.
and watched the film, and that was probably the only catch we had on him the entire game. Was that one play was the only catch that we had on him the entire game?
Really?
Yes.
He was supposed to be very good, and then he ran like a 4.8 or something at the combine, and it didn't go very far. What was his name? He was from American Heritage.
I know who it is.
Anyway, yeah. But if he was 6'6", or if that was Brax, that ball was so
There's
perfectly
nothing
thrown.
you could do to a perfectly thrown ball. Which that
he's
ball
not
was.
getting that ball no matter where it is.
No.
Yeah.
Or no matter who's out there.
No, and that's what you had to say to Florida State fans too. Is like, Lucky's a perfectly thrown ball. The guy had like pretty decent coverage on the ball too. I mean, it wasn't bad.
Great coverage.
Yeah.
That was the only spot I could have thrown it.
Exactly. So it's like you lost to a perfectly thrown ball. It wasn't lucky at all. This was the play. And
Execution.
Yeah. It's an execution offense, and that execution. So back up a little bit before that drive happens. I don't know what you did, but this I kind of wanted to get this question in. So now you do this one.
That's right.
Right? So you're literally pumping up your arms. You're trying to get the crowd. I mean, what are you trying to do there?
For me, I had so much emotion and so much passion for that game because I've always wanted to play in like a Florida State-Miami rivalry. I remember going to the one with Ja'Cory Harris through the touchdown because my family's from Tallahassee, and like it felt like that moment. Like I just remember like watching Ja'Cory do it. So like for me, like I wanted to go there and do it. And I wanted the crowd to get into it. I wanted to say, you guys get as loud as you want. It won't affect me nor my team.
That's awesome.
How good was that ball from Kosi to Travis Benjamin? I mean, not Kosi. Ja'Cory to Travis Benjamin in that game?
It was in the opposite end zone.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That throw, too.
It was unreal.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So there you go. So that game, he's telling everybody get hype. I want you loud. But then he goes to Toledo and he's like, shh. All right, which one? Which one? Some crowds we tell to be quiet, and some crowds we say get loud. But it's what you said. It's the rivalry. It's the emotion of the Florida State that was just like, hey, you know what? Let's make this exciting. Let's up the ante. You guys can get loud, but I know what I'm about to do.
Yeah. I loved it.
Beautiful.
Let's switch to the Notre Dame game. So now you've been at the U now. This is your fourth year. So you have seen how empty the Rock can be. You have seen, you know how pathetic the crowd can be at time, and you're sitting there and you're looking around and the noise is insane. You got to be like, holy Christ, this is the same stadium. Talk to us leading up to that week. Was the team just everybody locked in? Were you guys confident that you were going to roll this thing up, or did it take you all by surprise?
It didn't take us by surprise. We knew their Sam linebacker, number 23, great player, but more of a box player. Really couldn't cover in space, so we just took advantage of him in certain aspects. We moved Jeff Thomas from slot to outside, and we kind of played with mismatch personnel. But what's funny was I was actually training with Julian Love at Bomberitos, and he was like, that Notre Dame has never been in an environment like that ever.
Right.
And he was like, they felt the presence. And I feel like as much as we succeeded, the fans helped us succeed that game because I don't think they were ready for that environment that they walked into.
Now, when you guys are doing the pregame, setting up the game plan for the week, all we were hearing about was, they got these two tank offensive linemen. They're both going in the first round. And man, dude, defensive line just owned them. I mean, did you guys see a weakness in the film? Did you guys think that you were going to be able to just push those guys aside so easily?
To be honest with you, I felt like our defense took that as disrespect.
Okay.
And to a sense to where they were like, okay, we understand they're good, but they're the difference between saying someone's a good player and then just disrespecting the opposite team that they're playing. And that's how Chad Thomas, Kendrick Norton, RJ McIntosh, they took it to that sense. It's you could feel their passion when they were out. You could feel it during the week. They were our
they were
team
dialed
was not
in.
accepting an L.
Gotcha.
Because everyone counted us out.
Okay.
The entire week.
That game was.
It was a throwback for us, Malik, because being
it's the way it used to be. Man.
Yeah, it was. And Manny actually said too that was the closest to an OB environment, and then that's our name, right? The Orange Bowl boys, because it's a reference to those years. But a night game at the Orange Bowl, it was impossible to get a win, because we're transient fans. There's a lot to do. The beach is open, and stuff, especially if the Hurricanes take an early loss or two. But then it's an event-driven town. But usually at night, all the kids' sports are done, We went to the beach, so let's go hit up the Hurricane game. and it would get loud and energetic, and still recent memories since that stadium went there and it's changed names, Dolphin Stadium, Sun Life Stadium, Flip Flop Stadium, whatever, what have you. There was not a game that was louder than that game. That game, right? Was it was insane when Bandy gets that pick six.
Oh my God!
You literally screamed, and you could not hear yourself scream. It was amazing. Now, but I do want to talk about something too, because I'm close with my dad. You're going up to the Notre Dame game, the Virginia Tech game. After Virginia, you get some bad news.
Yeah.
Right. How hard was that for you?
It was super hard, and luckily I had like my family there.
Because he didn't want to tell you. Your dad didn't want to tell you.
They didn't want to tell me. But, when they did tell me, it was really heartbreaking for me, because I had no idea. And the person who kind of helped me the most was, I know my mom, my dad, they talked to me, but my older sister, me and her are like very close. And I just remember each week she said, don't worry about it. He'll be fine. Just focus on you, and like dad will be happy of you. And so that was my biggest thing was, right now, like I have to focus on my team, and my dad he called me every day, multiple times a day, just to tell me stay focused. Like your team needs you, like like I need you to succeed. And so to me, that was the most inspirational thing, was that the person who's going through pain still wants to see me succeed.
And he doesn't like Notre Dame.
Is he all good?
He's a diehard Miami fan. I remember. Oh wow! So when I first came down to do a camp, it was with James Coley. It was me and Brad, and it was literally like all the other quarterbacks were on one side, and it was just me and Brad with Coach Coley. And I remember after it for 2.5 hours, I promise you not, Art Kehoe and my dad talked about every Miami game that my dad's ever. They talked about it for 2.5 hours.
Well, Kehoe had been at most of those games, so
They talked about everything, and it was amazing to see how like big of a fan my dad was.
Well, so how much did that impact you coming to the Canes? The fact that your dad was a diehard Cane fan, did that play a big role in it, or was it?
No, so I was born a Miami fan, so like from a young age, like our household was kind of split. My stepmom and my sisters were all FSU fans, and just me and my dad.
Wow,
as a Miami fan. So like Miami FSU rivalries were really.
Oh, so when you won that game, how much crap did you give your sisters?
Right? Well,
tell me, you're still holding over their head.
He's running into Thanksgiving.
I mean, come on, seriously, they would never live that down.
Anytime there's an argument, he's got that saved in his favorites. And just boop, watch this.
I mean, my family, like, what's crazy is my stepmom's side of the family are all Florida State fans, but they were like the only game that they're root for Miami when I'm playing for them. So like my family was very supportive of me going to Miami. It wasn't like, okay, you go to Miami, we're going to shun you.
Right.
That is kind of how it should be.
My sisters became Miami fans. And they would come to most of the games. They wore jerseys, everything. Like even in Tallahassee, my older sister, Florida State fan, wearing a Miami jersey. So family was very supportive.
That's awesome.
That's
how good is that?
That's some guts to be wearing that Miami jersey at Tallahassee during a Miami game. All right, let's move on to after Rick leaves and Manny Diaz has left, and then they bring him back in. Do me a favor and describe Manny Diaz in 3 words.
That's too hard. That all I can say is he's an amazing guy. That's really all I can say. I mean, one thing I can say about him is he's one of the few coaches that I've ever been around that like when he walks in the room, you feel his presence. When he talks, like everyone, like he doesn't have, like, there's certain guys that say, hey, everyone pay attention. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have to.
Gotcha.
Because he has your attention just off rip. And
now, was that also when he was just the DC?
Just the DC. Okay. Like, and when he talks, you can feel the emotion and the passion behind him. Like, it's not just like, okay, like I'm just going through the routine. Like when he says something, it comes from his heart. And I've been around the facility, and I'm so happy for those guys. And I feel like they needed a coaching change. Mm-hmm. You can feel the energy. Like I remember Saturdays, so we had stuff to do on Saturdays where we'd run with Coach Gus Felder, and they're doing something similar on Saturdays. But like one of my roommates, Jack Spicer, was still on the team, and he said that they brought the whole team up there on Saturday to do a run.
The home security run.
Yeah, they stopped the run one Saturday, and they played dodgeball.
Okay.
And that was something that like we never did, like it was like Saturdays were like, okay, let's go run 2 miles. And then like everyone was just exhausted. They were like, okay, listen, we're going to run you, but then we're going to also like reward you for coming out. And there's something that they're doing that's different. And those guys want to be there. They want to be on campus. They want to be working out. They want to play for these coaches, which is amazing.
Well, from fans like us that have been fans for like 20 years, the thing we love about Manny is that he grew up down here. Yeah. And so he grew up going to the same games that we did. So he knows what that expectation is. He knows how they did under Jimmy Johnson and Craig Erickson and Dennis Erickson. And so he knows where the bar is set. But then, so to see him take the kids up this past week and do the home security run, you guys know about this.
Yeah.
Where, with this hashtag 58 straight is the standard, and his whole thing is you protect this house. This is our house. You like the Under Armour commercial. You protect this friggin' house. And seems like that's a different thing that we weren't getting the last few years.
Yeah, we weren't. And, I remember the Duke game, Coach Rick was highly upset.
Manny was playing the Duke highlights on Saturday.
Yeah.
The game they lost. Holy Christ.
That was why they ran.
It's savage.
That was why they ran.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure when I was talking to Jack said that they ran those home stadiums because we lost to Duke at home. And I'm pretty sure every home game that they lose, that's something they're going to have to do.
Gotcha.
With that. And
You lost to Duke at home.
I know.
In the rain.
Yes.
And
to a team that's so much more talented. And I can imagine why Rick was mad. That to us was like we were downstairs because it rained the whole time, and we were trying to watch from downstairs. We were like, I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't understand this happening.
I hear you.
And then we lined up to kick a field goal in a monsoon, and he just was like, "What did you think was going to happen?"
We're sitting there, and he goes, "What could possibly go wrong?" and then,
yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my god,
I've seen this one."
I mean, it was bad. I mean, by the end of the season, it was just you just had to laugh. You had to laugh. There were so many issues. It was like, oh my god, oh my heavens. But it's amazing. Did you? You obviously had towards the end of the season had to know, man, this is not ended well. The locker room was not great. Fans aren't happy. The way it all switched off at 180 degrees once Manny came in. You ever seen anything like that with a new coach? Just how it just turned all the negative, boom, into a positive.
To be honest with you, no. And it was insane. Sometimes it takes convincing players. Like I remember when Coach Rick first came in, he had to really convince us that he could do the same thing what he did at Georgia, being successful at Miami. But with Diaz, everyone he was familiar to the university. Everyone trusted him. Everyone respected him. So as soon as he became the head coach, it was instant. There was no waiting.
That's crazy to me.
It is.
It really is. I mean, it's because, but like you said, I mean, it's that energy that everyone can feel because it's that he has that Kane in him because, like we said, he was at the stalls next to us in the orange.
Son of a Miami mayor.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just like one of those things that he doesn't have to fake anything. He doesn't have to sell anything.
Malik, after that Wisconsin game, the next podcast, you go back and listen to it, we should have had like a suicide counselor in here because it was, oh my God, we were just depressed. It was like, oh my God, this is horrifying. This is like, how could 2018 have ended so badly? And then
all we talked about was getting an offensive coordinator.
That's all we're talking about.
That's all we could talk about.
And then like 10 days later, it's like, yeah, we're going to the football playoff this year.
Right.
Just insane.
Literally, this is a true story. We'd stop taping and we'd look at each other. We're like, we picked the worst year to start.
I can't believe we started this year.
Whose idea was this?
Terrible idea.
And then Manny comes in, and Manny having that, Hurricane DNA in his blood. One of the things we clamored for from the golden years, which you were a part of, was just we want to get back to like our calling card aggressive style, defense. And Manny kind of did that. He put these kids. No offense, but we're a far athletically superior teams than most teams we play.
Yes.
Right? We just get the athletes, we get the kids, we get the speed. There's no doubt about it. And it just seemed like Manny was putting those guys in better positions. So now you fast forward, and it just seems like Manny knew what the Miami calling card was on defense. Now, if we could just get that guy to get the playmakers, to get the quarterbacks in a system where like it's tailor-made for them and it's going to keep people fresh, it's going to keep people honest. It's just like, all right, now our talent's going to be put in a better situation to go ahead and succeed. Would you agree with that? Or
no, I do. It's crazy talking about OCs. I actually sat in one of the meetings with the quarterbacks, and I have so much respect for Enos. Actually, one of my quarterback guys that I'm working with worked with both of Brandon Allen and the other Allen that were at Arkansas with him, and their offense is so complex. Like it's tough for me to learn it, and that's something that it's good and bad. There's going to be a lot of variety, but now it's going to take a quarterback that really disciplined, that really wants to learn and make this team succeed to learn this offense.
We've got to stay off social media stuff.
Well, and let me ask you this. As you look at that room right now, obviously between Kosi and Jaron, who knows whether Tate's going to get the transfer, but would you say that Kosi and Jaron, in your mind, have both matured over the last few months? Are they getting closer to being that leader?
Yeah, I think they are. To me, the biggest problem with some of them is just like locking in, and I kind of had the same thing. Like me, Kosi, and Jaron are all people. Like, and Jaron's probably the biggest goofball in the room.
Okay,
but Jaron's talent and Kosi's talent is through the roof. And the big thing they have to learn to do is, okay, like there's certain times where you can play, and and there's a time where you just have to lock in. And that was something that I told Jaron about. I said, listen, Jaron, I said, is there going to be all type of people partying this all season, this spring? Yes. Don't do it.